Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to today's English grammar class. Today we are going to learn a very important phrase in spite of. Okay? Many students find it difficult to use this phrase correctly, but after today's class it will be very easy for you. Let's start. First of all, in spite of means despite. Okay? We use it when something happens even though there is a problem, difficulty or obstacle. Let me explain with a simple example. Okay, look at this sentence. In spite of the rain, in spite of the rain, we played football. Okay, in spite of the rain, we played football. What does it mean? It means it was raining. Okay, rain is usually a problem for playing football, but we played football anyway. So even though there was a difficulty, the action is still happened. That is why we use in spite of. Now let's learn the structure. The structure is in spite of plus noun oblique pronoun oblique verb ing. Okay? Don't worry if this sounds difficult. Don't worry if this sounds difficult. Let's understand it step by step. First, we can use a noun. Okay? First, we can use a noun after in spite of. For example, in spite of the rain. Okay? Here, in spite of the rain. Here, rain is a noun. Another example, in spite of his illness. Okay, in spite of his illness. Here, in spite of his illness. Okay, here illness is also a noun. Second, we can use a pronoun. For example, in spite of him. In spite of him. Here, him is a pronoun. Third, we can use a verb with ing. For example, in spite of being tired. Okay. Here, in spite of being tired. Here, being is a verb with ing. Now, let's see some complete sentences. Example number 1. In spite of the rain, we played football. Okay, the rain was problem, but we still played football. Example number 2. In spite of his illness, he attended class. Okay, he was sick. Being sick is a problem. Okay, being sick is a problem, but he still attended class. Example number 3. In spite of being tired, she completed her work. She was tired. Tiredness was a difficulty, but she still completed her work. Can you see the pattern? In every sentence, there is a difficulty, okay? But the action still happens. That is the main idea of in spite of, okay? That is the main idea of in spite of. Now, remember one important rule. After in spite of, we don't use a complete sentence. Okay? After in spite of, we do not use a complete sentence. Okay? For example, in spite of he was tired. This is incorrect. Okay? In spite of being tired, this is correct. So always use noun, pronoun or verb ing after in spite of. Okay? Let's revise today's lesson. In spite of means despite. It shows that something happens even though there is a difficulty or obstacles. Obstacle. Structure in spite of plus noun oblique pronoun oblique verb ing. Okay, examples. In spite of the rain, we played football. In spite of his illness, he attended class. In spite of being tired, she completed her work. Excellent. That's all for today's class. Thank you for watching. Keep practicing English every day, and I will see you in the next lesson. Okay, goodbye and have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.